Hey everybody, welcome back to Knife Knife. We are on our pea episode, and for our pea episode, we're doing peas. We're using frozen peas. This is empty because I've already made them. I'm using frozen peas today because peas have a very limited window once they are picked on good flavor. Pretty quickly, they tend to get kind of mealy or they sort of taste funny. So I generally do not buy fresh peas at the grocery store. I only buy them if I can get them from the farmer's market. Otherwise, frozen peas are, I think, the best way to go because they are picked and then pretty much immediately frozen. So when you rehydrate them, they are nice and bright green. They still have a great texture. They still have great flavor. They're still nice and sweet. Just a really great option. And they're great for people who have big families or who live alone because there are various bag sizes. You can buy single portions, you can buy huge family size bags. So we're doing one of my favorite mushy pea recipes. It's kind of like mashed potatoes, but you use peas instead. And it's very delicious and savory and wonderful. And I cannot wait for you to see and try it. So today's recipe is going to be super simple. I have a pot that is halfway filled with water. I've got the garlic cloves in the water, still with a peel on them. Putting the lid on that, I'm going to put this on the stove at medium high. The reason I have the cloves in their skin still, I want them to steam and get really soft while the water is coming to boil. Or when we're done with everything, making the peas, we'll take the garlic out and we'll separate it from the skins and we'll do stuff with it. You'll see. Another thing, I'm not adding salt to the water before it starts boiling because what salt does is it raises the boiling temperature of the water, so it will take longer to come to a boil. So I'm going to wait for it to get to a boil, then I'm going to add the salt. And I want to add the salt to the water because then I don't have to season my peas later. While we're waiting for the water to come to boil, we can take our blender. And for this, you'll need a blender or an emulsifier. You can do it without either. It's just going to be more like elbow grease. You can take half your peas and mash them with a potato masher or something heavy. So we're going to put our cream cheese into this container. And we're going to be doing about 1/4 cup. I'm going to go ahead and add my pepper. You can use fresh cracked peppercorns. You can use white pepper, ground black pepper, whatever pepper you have. You're gonna get a more intense flavor if you use fresh cracked pepper versus pre-ground. So once it's ground, its flavor kind of starts to go away and it gets stale. When you keep the peppercorns whole and then you crack them as you're using them, the flavor is stronger. Let's go ahead and measure our thyme. We're not gonna need a whole lot. I'm not even gonna do a full 1/4 teaspoon. I'm gonna do a little less, maybe half, so like 1/8 teaspoon. Now I recommend using fresh lemon if you have it. I don't at the moment. I keep forgetting to buy it at the grocery store and I don't know why. I bought a lime, didn't buy lemons. The benefit to having fresh is one, you're gonna get a more intense flavor, but also you can zest, which is like the best part of having fresh lemons is you can zest in there so you get a more intense lemon flavor without adding liquid or sour to your dish. Just gonna do a teaspoon. And that is that. And now we just have to wait for the peas. So let's go see how our water is coming along. So as you can see, our water is boiling. Perfect. Now I'm gonna add more salt than you're probably comfortable with, but that's okay. I'm gonna say it's a little over 1 tablespoon. You see, after I added the salt in, the boiling started to go down a little bit. Colby, you wanna get some peas? No? Okay, he's done. Go on. The salt is now dissolved. Everything's ready. Perfect. We can add in our peas. So it was a half of a bag. We just added frozen peas to our hot water. So it's gonna bring the temperature down. So it's not gonna be boiling anymore. Peas cook really fast because they're tiny. So as soon as it comes back to a boil, then we'll be ready to strain it. Also, if you don't like thyme, mint is a good substitute for this dish. Mint goes really well with peas. Dried or fresh, whatever you feel like. But I just felt like, I like thyme and lemon. That's what I wanted in this recipe today. Oh, he's such a good boy. But before I take it off, I'm definitely gonna test and make sure that they're ready. I'm gonna test a little more gently this time. Oh, they're perfect. So time to strain. And I like to run a little cold water over them. It'll keep them from continuing to cook so they won't get like super soggy. All right, gonna pull out that garlic. Okay, so now the garlic, you can feel a difference in the texture. It's a little softer, and that's gonna also make the flavor a little more mild. It won't be so sharp, but it'll still be nice and savory. Okay, and then half of my peas are gonna go in here. A little more than half. So if it's being troublesome, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, it just kind of depends on how much moisture is in the peas when you put them in there. These were drained really well. Just add a little water. Yeah. That's done. It smells really good. And then you mix in the large peas. And the reason I do that is because it adds texture, so you're not just left with mushy peas. And there we go. Nice green mushy peas. Okay. So the cream cheese is a really nice way to get a nice rich flavor, and you're doing something a little different than just using butter, which is what I started using when I initially was making this recipe, but then I just decided let's do something a little different. You can also top it with some more thyme or some more salt. I think it's seasoned really well because we boiled them in the salty water. But a little flaky salt isn't bad. So this is a wonderful, super easy dish to make. It does not take very long. This is a good one if you're getting if you have a whole bag, you can get the big bags of frozen peas and make something really quick as a side dish for dinner that doesn't take a whole lot of thinking or extra preparation. But also if you're just a solo person living on your own in your apartment, this is an awesome thing that you can do really quick to give yourself a lot of nutrition, a lot of flavor, and something just absolutely wonderful for your midday meal. So definitely tag me on Instagram. My handle is going to be down below. Show me if you end up making this recipe. I'd love to see what you do differently. If you end up using mint or something different, if you use something other than cream cheese as your thick base. I hope you really enjoy this recipe. I really enjoy it. It's super good. It's one of those recipes you can have with a nice frozen food that you don't have to worry about going bad, and it still tastes just as delicious. We'll see you all next time with the radishes.